Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while. I've been saying this every single time. I'm really trying my best to come on more often, but it's between sleep and me. I am so dead. My schedule is crazy. Busy. Yeah, life is I'm working my ass off and I'm so happy that I get to do the things that I love while doing so. But hey, welcome if you're new. My name is Lynn, and for this video, I want to reintroduce myself. I want to reintroduce myself because I feel like it is important because I have been having to reintroduce myself to myself. My life has changed so much in the past 6 months. I've posted a little thing about this on my Instagram stories, which has made it very difficult for me also to come on here and share thoughts and perspectives in a regular way like I used to, because the whole foundational way, my whole paradigm of everyday mundane existence and the way of understanding myself and the world has changed so critically that I have to relay the foundation in order to build upon that. You will not be able to understand where I'm coming from or the way that I'm processing things based on my current reality if I don't take the time to lay that groundwork. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's actually a reintroduction, not only for you, but also for myself. I haven't been able to find the words. I know that I've been going through this process. I know that this is something that I've been experiencing, that I've been purging. I've been grieving so much of my old life, and I've really stepped into a whole new reality. And sometimes it's just not easy to find the words. It's been a very isolating experience within a crowd because I'm never alone. I'm more outside than I've ever been. I'm more surrounded with people that support me, that see me, that love me for who I am than ever before. So it's very strange. It's very weird to explain or to try to explain what I'm feeling. And whatever I'm feeling sometimes can be so contradictory to what I'm experiencing that it's also such a mind fuck in another way. So, look, if you're down for that today, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank everyone for sticking with me, for listening, for hearing me out, even though sometimes I don't make a lot of sense. I don't know. This has been such a great journey for me to be able to hop on this channel and to share my experiences. And as time moves on and as I take steps away from it, sometimes it gives me the space to reevaluate and to rediscover how meaningful it actually is for me and how much I need it, how much it helps me to understand myself and to feel truly myself fully. This is part of who I am. So yeah, thank you for being here, first and foremost. So if you're down for that, stick around, get cozy. Let's share this moment and get into it. I would be lying if I said I even know how to start this. If I said that I know what to explain, I don't know what I'm about to say. And that is a point about my videos. Most of the time, they work when I just step in with no expectations and just allow the information to form itself into a linear story. But God knows the path is not linear at all. I have been going through a huge change. I decided not to work, and I also decided to completely switch lanes when it comes to my studies. I was on a trajectory of doing a PhD. I did have my master's in communication sciences, to be more precisely, media technology and cultural sciences, with great distinction. So your goal was doing great. I really wanted that PhD. I still feel like I am meant to be a teacher, and I really hope that will be on my path sometimes. I would love that. And I didn't get it exactly as he wanted this year, but nothing was lost. I was still on a good track. I was able, there was the possibility for me to continue and retry next year and, do more research, publish more articles by the time that I would reapply for a PhD. But I've come to a place in life where I was just so boxed in, and I felt a lack of freedom, and I felt a certain restraint on my identity and who I was. And I also felt that the academic world was taking up so much of who I was that I was starting to limit my creative and artistic expression. And at the end of the day, to me, it's always about being free. And to me, it's always about allowing to be myself and ever changing. And I love to see myself grow and not to put myself in a box. For me, there's nothing worth my freedom, and that's a constant. No, I'm not going to do it. That's a constant measurement that I'm doing. Like every decision I make, every life path you take, you have to ask yourself, am I doing this with the right intention? Or am I being a little bit hasty about something because I'm in an uncomfortable position and I am buying into a dream or thinking the grass will be greener at the other side because I'm actually running away from something that if I would face it, it would actually set me free. I was going through a very hard emotional time. It was very difficult. I don't know. I felt like I had pushed my limits. And it's, for me, that's something spiritual where it's like you're ready to break free. You're in a place where you have learned all the lessons that you possibly could within a certain space in your life. And continuing to be there, it's like being in a container, but like being ready to explode. That was really what I was feeling like. If I did not break the container, if I did not change the container, either I was going to solidify, like the materials that I'm made of was either going to solidify or explode. And maybe that means going crazy. I was on the edge of that. And so I had a few moments where I had to be very honest with myself and ask myself the question, are you doing this because you're trying to run away from how stuck you're really feeling and how you know that there's something more, that you know that there's something else for you somewhere else, but taking that leap of faith would put you in the unknown, which is also scary. It's always the choice between two scary things, right? Are you trying to run away or is this truly what you want? And I think, thank God, I talk a lot to myself. I pray a lot and I try to be as honest with myself as possible, which isn't always easy. Trust me. And you do not decide, you don't have control over when certain information or when all the information and all the puzzle pieces in your mind come together. That's, for me, that's divine guidance. That for me, that's everything in divine timing. That's why there's always a balance between our own capabilities, but also the hand of God. If you would always put that responsibility onto you to figure everything out at the right time, that's a big responsibility. And to have to carry the weight of all the consequences, that's not a life I would like to live because it's too heavy. I would not take risks. I would be too afraid and hold myself back. But knowing and living with the idea that I have a plan, there is a life mission for me, there is a divine being or a divine source power that loves me so much, that wants me to fulfill a certain path that I feel free in and that I feel loved in and that is good for me. It allows you to kind of let go and trust also in the unknown, which for me stays one of the most important things I also come back to, is knowing that nothing is certain, but learning to thrive in the unknown and to have faith. And that's why faith is very important, because most of the time in our lives, we will not know what we are doing. And that's okay. But that's why I need to believe in a bigger plan. And I need to believe in something divine greater than me, that loves me even more, even when I'm incapable of loving myself. That makes sense, Everything fell together, and then I realized, you know what? It's either I'm going to go work and try to postpone and play it safe, or I face my fears and I go for it fully. And my life shifted like 180 degrees from one day to the other. And I've been trying to process it for the past 6 months. And it has also been really in the way that I perceive art and the way that I understand art to be important. And as an artist, how who you are is your purpose. Your existence is your purpose. Your creation is your purpose. You staying free is what makes you a great artist. You choosing radically to go against what society try to make you reach into to feel safe, that illusion of safety. I think we've learned that ontological safety. Sometimes we achieve certain things like careers, like buying houses, like having a car, like, these are things, metrics in life that give us the idea, the illusion of being safe. But it is always an illusion because anything can happen. And we can see that with whatever is happening in the world. There's never a guarantee that you will not wake up tomorrow and everything can be taken away from you. And for me, that knowing, staying very grounded in that knowing that even though the sun will rise tomorrow, nothing is promised. Nothing is certain. You cannot guarantee your stability for life. And we do strive for that because it helps us to stay sane and stable. But at the end of the day, if that stability is costing me the life that I could possibly live, where I'm truly free and doing what I want, even though I don't know what the outcome will be or how that would look, I am not reaching the certain potential that I could possibly get into. And one thing I really don't want to do is live in regret or wonder, like, what have I done? Okay, if you fail, and then there's this certain confidence. It's like a spiritual development of the self, which you can build by retraining your mind, by aligning your actions with your words, by treating yourself properly, by committing to things that are important to you, by fighting your vices. There's a certain spiritual development that grows within that. And that kind of confidence and safety that you have within can never be taken away from you. And as stronger you feel within your own capabilities, the more you realize and the less you feel the urge to rely on external metrics of validation that give you the idea that you will be safe. And the more you realize that no matter what place in life you're being dropped in, no matter what happens tomorrow, I know that I have the qualities and I know that I have what it takes to get myself from point A to point B. I know that I can count on myself. I know that I will not give up. I know that however hard it gets, I will not give up. And I will do everything I can until my last breath. There's a different kind of confidence and safety that comes from that inner knowing of knowing thyself, of trusting yourself fully, of loving yourself so much that you could never abandon your values, that you stay honest with yourself no matter how difficult it can be sometimes. Because we all make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But we also have to be able to say that about ourselves. And that's where sometimes it's a little bit difficult. Accountability is a very important word. But yeah, so I decided, no, you know what? I deserve to be happy and I want to do that risky thing that maybe it's a one in a lifetime and I have the opportunity now. And if I don't take that leap now, I might do it later, but there will already be more responsibilities and more risks and I will have to take more into account. So I did it. And my idea of self has changed so much as I am now in the School of Arts. I'm literally living my victorious lifestyle. If you watch Nickelodeon, it's literally like that, or even worse, for the better though. I really love it. But there is this way of now my entire existence, and I am channeling and I am sacrificing, but it's not a sacrifice because we always sacrifice something. That's also the thing. There is no world where you can have every single thing. And if it is, there is something being taken from you without your knowing. Everything costs something, either time, energy, or money, like resources, time, energy, money. You can never have the three at the same time. And if you are, maybe you are, how do you say? You are taking things from other people in an unfair way. But if you live a fair life, balanced out, you can never have these three at the same time. So now perhaps I am sacrificing my energy and my time, but I am doing it with so much love for something that gives back so much to me. I could never put in the hours now for another job, which would also take time and energy, although it would give me money, but it wouldn't give me that emotional, spiritual fulfillment and that sense of purpose. What is very important for us human beings is a feeling of doing something right, doing something for society. Well, I think most human beings, I think there's some maybe that really don't care and that would love to ruin the world and see it go into hell, and that really try to make it into a living hell. But even then, they're probably pursuing their personal purpose. But I do feel like we all need a sense of purpose and direction. And we try to fill that in by a certain job. But for me, it was very exhausting to constantly try to redefine my purpose within shifts and changes, and also the paradox of being spiritual and being an artist, but having to compromise that to fit within the purpose or the system of a corporate job or an academic job. Because when you are within a certain system, when you operate within a certain something that has mechanically been constructed by human beings to work in, which it can be functional, some people can do that. But if I am within a system, I am limiting myself to that system. I have to reshape my form. I have to reshape my way of being to fit within that operating system. And my operating system, to feel my best, to feel my greatest, is being free. I have to be able to reshape and remold and express myself in different ways in different lifetimes. So I felt like I cannot step into a system without losing the part of myself that gives me that spark, that gives me that happiness, that gives me that joy. And as I've been processing this, I noticed that sometimes we forget that we don't even need a purpose, that you are so divine in your being that who you are, my being, the I am, is my purpose. Living is my purpose. You don't need to find an excuse to live. You don't need to find an excuse to be happy. But there's also that inner guilt. We have so much guilt of being happy and being free. This world shames you for doing what you want to do, for living the life that feels authentic to you. We live in a world that shames people that are free. We live in a world that makes you question yourself for going against the grain, for not fitting within the system. But I radically decide to rebuke that idea. And I say, no, we are all deserving to be free. We are all deserving to be. Being, living, breathing is our birthright. We do not have to suffer. We do not have to suffer. This world wants you to suffer. This world tells you that you have to suffer so that you conform and you can actually find shelter within the system, which is an illusion in itself because the system also fails. And we never really know who the system is working for. Is it really working for your well-being? No, because I think your well-being would set you free, would want you to be healthy, would want you to respect the earth, would want people to love each other and take care of each other, regardless of what they look like or where they come from. Treat everybody as an equal. Wow. To say that out loud feels crazy. This is all the information I've been sitting on, and I'm just realizing or like putting the pieces together as I'm speaking to you right now, which feels immaculate. Like everything is making sense right now, which is crazy. I love being in the performing arts now. It's almost as if the self is the art, the who you are is the art. And it's not only the good things, it's also the bad things. All the emotions, all the ups and downs. I process emotions so much more differently, with so much more grace. Because when you, especially acting, I've fallen in love with acting, with the art of acting, the art of using your body as a vessel to tell stories. There is something so beautiful. And then you understand that your emotions can have a higher purpose. You can touch people by living your own life. We are all inspirations to one another. But it's through the arts that we are able to pass down this inspiration. That's why art is so important. But that's also why every expression of life matters. So you matter. No matter what season of your life you're in. Because you're never alone. There are so many people that recognize themselves in you. You're a mirror to so much. And your living and your embracing of your life will inspire other people to do better, to keep going, even when things are getting very hard. The last thing I want to mention is I found it very paradoxical how choosing the performing arts has finally set me free from living a life of performing. Because although I'm studying performing arts and I'm learning to put on a show and perform, I feel like I have never been able to be myself as much as before. And I always felt like when I'm doing any other type of job, that I have to put on a mask, that I have to perform. It's so strange. We see these different types of arts as something kind of generic, as like a mask or a pretend, but a lot of the times it's just our free, true expression. But people are so uncomfortable with the truth and raw emotions and raw expressions that they have to present it as fake to be able to process it, because they're not ready to face how fake they are being, living their own lives on an every single day basis. Think about that for a second. Doing the arts of performing something is the realest and truest I've ever felt. How strange is that? It's a beautiful thing. So, that is the groundwork of my whole new way of experiencing life, of seeing the world, of appreciating human beings in all their forms. I don't see too much bad. Also, religion is a whole other thing I have to step away from in another way. I do appreciate the rituals. I feel like religion is also a way that has been trying to put art into people's life, because rituals, it's also performances that we do. We dress up a certain way, we tell stories in a certain way. When I look at religions, I think that that was actually old, different people's types of way of incorporating art into their life to give meaning, to give purpose. But my problem with religion is that it has also been systemized, and within the system, it has to fit within a certain box. Therefore, it does not allow the true freedom. It's a very complicated conversation, but it's so interesting. And this has set me free in ways that I'm still processing, and I'm very curious to also see what that freedom is gonna lead me to. I'm loving it in a new way. There's so much less shame, but there's also the realization that there's so much shame put upon us for loving certain ways and loving certain things and being in certain spaces, having certain identities, and it's all just an illusion. That's all I have to say for now. But thank you so much for listening if you watched through the entire video. Honestly, I can't even express how grateful I am right now. This means a lot to me, and I'm really looking forward to the future. I have so many things to share still in this lifetime, which I don't know in which ways it's going to present itself. The process is not always easy, but in the moments where I'm able to share, I always feel like this is why I'm doing it, and it's so worth it, no matter how high the high goes and how low the lows get. Sharing your being and your expression and yourself matters, and you matter, and your life is worth celebrating and worth living. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.